This weekend is brought to you by Phoenix Fuels.
Make every trip come alive with Phoenix Fuels, now with Pulse technology.
The rainy season has come and the rains are adding intrigue and drama to races. That's what happened during round 4 of the 2018 Philippine Autocross Championship Series. Up next, highlights of a rain-affected autocross competition at SM Novaliches on race weekend.
Racing enthusiasts and spectators unite as we bring you another wet race, this time from the 2018 Philippine Autocross Championship Series. Round 4 is underway. The 2018 Philippine Autocross Championship Series flagged off under a hot summer sun, and the competition was heated with the newcomers to the Autocross Series like Milo Rivera and Inigo Anton, with Estefano Rivera joining the third round, challenging the veterans in regular autocross races. The third round was just as hot, the track and the competition, with newcomers again giving the veterans of autocross stiff competition. Race weekend resumes coverage of the 2018 PAX competition in its fourth round. This time, it's not as hot on the track. The rainy season has arrived and it rained out on the autocross course laid out at the parking lot of SM Novaliches. I'm here with one of the organizers of the Philippine Autocross Championship Series, JJ, to tell us more about this sport. Hi JJ, glad to have you here with us in our show.
Yes, thank you for coming and supporting Philippine Autocross.
Just a refresher for the viewers, since it's been a long time, 3 months to be exact, last time we covered the Autocross. Just for a refresher for the viewers, can you tell us what the Autocross Championship is all about?
Philippine Autocross is all about 2 cars at the same time, running with different designed racetracks. We are encouraging also yung mga new drivers and even the young ones na marunong mag-drive.
Sino sa mga racers or participants natin dito ang front runners?
For this season, we have Milo Rivera, who's currently leading sa team ko as points. Also, next is Carlos Anton, then followed by Dan Biakichay.
Are there fresh faces for this particular event?
For today, we have several fresh faces. But most yung nag-aalaga ng points nila for the whole series.
It wasn't the fresh faces that provided the drama, intrigue, and excitement to round 4 of the 2018 Philippine Autocross Championship Series. It was the rain. Intermittent rains over the past few days before the event made for unpredictable track conditions and consequently uncertain results until the end of the day. The day started with mostly a dry track before the rains came, and then things turned wet and wild. The drivers who managed to complete runs in the dry, of course, got the early advantage over those who were forced to run in wet condition. Among those who benefited from the changing conditions was Inigo Anton, who just turned 14. The young gun has always been aiming to beat the likes of Milo Rivera, one of his main rivals in slalom series and now also in autocross.
Well, in practice, it was raining first, and then when we got here, it stopped raining, so we were able to get practice in the dry, but the track was still very slippery, and we were trying out new stuff, so it was kind of more of like just a shakedown in the practice. And then when it got to the race, my first heats was still a little scrappy. I still had a lot of mistakes and a lot more fixing to do with my lines and everything. But after Milo ran his 30.51, and it was still sunny, so we also tried to do it, and luckily we were able to get it by just like 0.03 of a second. So
The rains weren't the only things making it difficult for competitors. The race course laid out also gave driver fits.
I think where I see it the most difficult is by the 180, because there's a lot of bumps and it's very slippery there. So like if you mess up, one thing, like you'll either spin out or sometimes it'll be very slow around it. So it's very tricky to be able to get perfectly.
After wishing early in the day for the dry weather to hold, Inigo began to hope the intermittent rains continue to pour. So Milo Rivera and the other drivers won't be able to beat his best time of day.
Well, hopefully first that the rain or like the track conditions don't get better because we're holding that best time. So if like Milo will beat my time, that's when we'll run again. But because it would be kind of pointless to run if it's not beaten.
As the day wore on, it became a tense wait for the rains to finally stop, at least enough to allow for competitive times. Among those waiting for the chance to get back on the track with better conditions were the Riveras, Stefano, and Milo.
Today we were actually unlucky because when we were out, me and my brother only got to run in the dry weather only 2 runs, while our competitors were able to run a lot. So we should have run more because eventually around 2 p.m. 2 to 3 it rained. So obviously the times are slower right now and we're just trying different setups to see if we can still catch up the time, but we're really hoping that it dries up because we have more runs to go and let's see, maybe we can catch up. I just came from the racetrack. Some parts are dry, some parts are wet, so you don't know if you're gonna gas or if you're gonna brake or you're gonna take it easy or not. So yeah, it's really difficult. It's even harder this type of racetrack is harder than a full wet racetrack because you know where's the grip. Here it's uneven. Sometimes it's slippery, sometimes it's really good, the grip's good, so yeah. It's actually experience, but it's a bonus. We're seeing it looks like it's drying up. If it dries up, we'll try again and try to beat the overall best time.
Milo Rivera, the Autocross Series points leader, also was praying for track conditions to improve.
Well, today was a very, very challenging race. A rainy one at that. Everything was very close between Inigo, my brother, Carlos, and I. We once had the record for a while until Inigo captured it last minute until the rain came. So we didn't have any time to get back at him because once it was a run, the rain poured like crazy. So I hope with the drying conditions we get to get the time back. But if not, we have to accept the circumstances. It is what it is. But we still like our chances. We want to stay optimistic. So we'll see how things go at the end of the day. Well, we were trying to find out how to get the track dried up right away. It was a very, very damp track after the rain. And the weather isn't helping. It's not sunny right now. It's very cloudy. And there are signs of raining again. So we're just trying to maximize what we have. Try to sweep all the puddles away. Sana tumuyo. But we're just trying whatever we can to get things right.
At the end of the day, Milo Rivera mastered the difficult conditions enough to regain the best time of the day, recording a lap time of 30.25 hundredths of a second to beat Inigo Anton's best time of 30.48 hundredths of a second. This was good enough for second overall, to drive down his father, Carlos Anton, down to third with a time of 30.66 hundredths of a second. Stefano Rivera got his wish for better conditions and managed to set the 4th best overall time with a 30.84 hundredths of a second. Stefano Rivera got his wish for better conditions and managed to set the 4th best overall time with a 30.84 hundredths of a second run. And that concludes another exciting feature of the 2018 Philippine Autocross Championship Series. Thank you for joining us and be sure to check us out for more motorsports highlights.
It is encouraging to note that local motorsports will not be lacking for new heroes and stars. It took rain and a bit of luck in the timing of the heats during round 4 of the 2018 Philippine Autocross Championship Series for an up-and-coming protege to nearly beat a wily veteran. But it may be inevitable. A rising star getting the better of an established one, we may not have to wait long for this to happen. Race weekend will surely be covering more intriguing races in this wet season for races.
This week's feature on Race Weekend has been brought to you by Phoenix Fuels.
Make every trip come alive with Phoenix Fuels, now with Pulse technology. These are the Fuel Masters. Every time they're on the court, it's high performance. Every time I'm on the road, I can also expect high performance from Phoenix Fuels. We made it! The next generation Phoenix Fuels, now with Pulse technology, delivers enhanced power and acceleration to make every trip come alive.